In some villages, silence is louder than words. When a young man uncovers what the elders are hiding, he must decide between obeying tradition or exposing a dangerous truth. This isn't just a story. It's based on real events that have happened in communities across Africa. It's a story about power, silence, and the real price of truth. In one particular village, a young man named Thabo returned home after studying in the city. He came back expecting peace, a familiar comfort. But what he found was a community guarding secrets so dark, most people would never dare to speak of them. The village had a long-standing tradition. Every generation, a keeper, is chosen to maintain the council's official records. This keeper is entrusted with the community's decisions, its money, and its entire history. But there's a silent rule, a rule that's never spoken aloud. The whole truth is never written down. Some names are erased from the records. Some people just disappear. Thabo's own grandfather had been a keeper decades ago. He'd heard whispers growing up, rumors of missing leaders and sudden, unexplained deaths. But he never knew any details. He returned home. The elders summoned him. "You are educated. You have seen the world," they said. "You must serve as the next keeper." He accepted the honor, not yet knowing the full cost of what he was agreeing to. On his very first day in the role, Thabo started noticing strange patterns. There were files hidden away in locked boxes, separate from the main records. There were late-night meetings attended by only a select few elders. And there was money being sent out of the village with no explanation, no paper trail. When he started asking questions, the elders would just smile at him and say, "You must trust tradition." Trust. It was a word that quickly began to feel heavy, like a stone in his pocket. One night, Thabo was alone in the record room. Curiosity finally got the better of him. He found an old, dusty ledger and opened it. Inside were names and dates, but many of them were crossed out with no reason given. Then, tucked between the pages, he found a small, folded note. It was written in his grandfather's handwriting. Note said, "Truth can destroy. Keep silent or you will not survive." His heart began to pound in his chest. He suddenly realized that the keepers before him, including his grandfather, probably didn't leave their posts voluntarily. Thabo now faced an impossible choice. Obey tradition and remain silent, just like the note warned, or expose the truth and risk everything he had. The village depended on him. Some families trusted him. But fear was everywhere. Even his closest friends warned him, saying, "Do not dig any deeper. Some truths are cursed." Thabo prayed. He didn't pray for courage, but for clarity. He needed to know what was right. And then he remembered a phrase his grandmother always used to say, "What is hidden will always find a way to be revealed." The next council meeting was tense. You could feel the unease in the air. Thabo stood before the elders and confronted them directly. "I cannot follow records that hide deaths and corruption," he said, his voice shaking but firm. "The people of this village need to know the truth." The elders just laughed softly. "Truth can destroy this village," one of them said. "Are you willing to bear that burden?" Thabo stood his ground. He held up the ledger. He pointed to the names, the dates, and the records of missing funds. The elders froze. Their smiles vanished. After the meeting, Thabo left the council chamber. He didn't know what would happen next. Rumors spread through the village like fire. Some people praised him as a hero. Others shunned him, calling him a traitor to their traditions. Within just a few weeks, things began to change. Investigations were quietly launched. Some of the corrupt leaders were removed from their positions. The entire village began to question the traditions they had followed blindly for so long. Thabo lost some friends in the process, but he gained something far more valuable: peace. He had chosen truth over fear. In communities where silence is the law, courage becomes an act of rebellion. In places where tradition is used to hide wrongdoing, speaking out can feel impossible. But the truth, no matter how dangerous, is always worth the risk. Do not fear what others hide. Stand for truth, even if you have to stand alone. If this story moved you, please like the video and leave a comment with your thoughts. Share with someone who might need a little courage today, and subscribe for more real-life stories that need to be heard. Thanks for watching.